You are watching Xirtus.
I don't know. I think we're about to get to a point where data isn't trusted, like you said, but when it's not trusted, then how far are we going to go? Because
All the way,
people,
dude. Like my favorite thing to bring up is that Rene Descartes said that he didn't believe his own eyes because he knew, and I'm paraphrasing this, obviously. He didn't speak American like I do, but that everything that he saw with his eyes was really just his optic nerves vibrating. And if that's all it took was just to someone vibrate your optic nerves and you can make to see anything, that even if he sat down and saw the sun rise and the sun set, that's not proof of anything. So he was like, I have to stop looking outward and I have to start looking inward. So he started deriving what he thought reality was based on just the logic inside of him because of the same kind of fractal infinite nature we talk about. He assumed that whatever's inside, whatever logic I can come up with internally, has to have some sort of a truth in like this external world, as opposed to like look at the external and apply it to the internal. So I'm if the question is how far do we bring it, I say we bring it all the way to Rene Descartes and just saying like you're just jiggling my optic nerves. Like I don't trust anything going on.
yeah, but then we go then we're Blade Runner, because like then it gets to that point where like you can't trust your own memories. Your own memories are stacks. Every
Yeah.
moment you have exactly.
Ex Machina, you're gonna start cutting yourself open to see if you can find hardware in there.
Yeah, I think it's good on one level because I like the idea of ego death and thinking that every moment is fresh and that the whole past behind it was all stacked for just this existence, this symmetry. But I also think that could probably drive most people insane, right? Like,
Well, it's Apollonianism, like taken to the extreme. So something, because we have society, we establish an order of things, and then that's like how we like function and whatnot. And so it's just basically what we're describing is like total helter skelter, which means confusion. So it's just like mass freaking confusion because if you're not going to be able to trust anything, but we're already there, so that's already happening. So this isn't like a question of like if in the future, like we're literally having videos emerge of people saying things and us people reacting in mass to what they're seeing, and they're not even saying it. I mean, it's considered one of the greatest sins in Judaism, worse than like murder in a certain way, is if you destroy somebody's reputation. If you destroy somebody's reputation, that extends beyond your lifetime. It's like what with Nietzsche when they said it turned out as like a somebody who had something against Nietzsche. I think it was like a tabloid thing or something of like how he died. So like it's like he was even taught in universities for years that he died of syphilis that he got from a prostitute, and it was like I guess that doesn't actually check out at this point, but it's like it doesn't change the fact that people have said that for so many years. It's like
whoa.
yeah.
Does the inverse of that work too? Like if you venerate someone that doesn't deserve it, is that just as much of a sin as ruining someone's reputation?
Putting the Ferengi back on, yeah.
It should be, if not.
What about
Yeah.
Apollo? You kept saying it's so Apollonian. Why is it so Apollonian? Like, what's the metaphor there?
Well, the idea is Apollo as the destroyer, and so like it's the basis of Nietzsche's The Birth of Tragedy, where he argues about the history of Dionysian theater becoming Apollonian theater, where it had this musical element that got removed. That basically the satyr chorus would actually perform in between the audience and the stage with plays, tragedies that they were very familiar with, and so that apparently allowed a certain malleability in the minds of the spectators who did not see themselves as spectator. Like the idea of a spectator is like unknown to the Greeks at that time. And so Apollo is structure. It's like if you sculpture as opposed to music or something, it's like it's a very stable thing. So they looked at laws as Apollonian, and restriction. And so you put restrictions on people that you can function better to a degree if you're trying to build something or accomplish something, because it's organized. But the idea of why Apollo's the destroyer is because if you continue on with that indefinitely, then, at a certain point, it can destroy a whole empire just by so much restriction. If all you do is make more laws, then you're giving back or you're, allowing, then it becomes this destructive force. So
Well,
I guess I could see it that way.
I was talking about this earlier today, but this is kind of like the Hegelian dialectic. If you were to take that dynamic you were just explaining and turn it into like a formula, and gave it to like the Fabian Society or somebody. That's kind of Hegelian dialectic, is knowing that after a certain while, a certain way of life, or like the rules that you impose or some culture, just it existing over time breeds people that don't like it. And once enough people build up, then they form like a counterculture. And then once that gets to a critical mass, then that counterculture pushes against that original culture, and a new culture emerges. And then the whole process just keeps repeating over and over again.
Yeah, you're kind of describing the birth of tragedy, because he's talking about folk music. And so what at his time, so it'd be like the equivalent of rock at Nietzsche's time, because counterculture music, and so he felt that was a continuation of the Dionysian throng. And so people, what is really the art of the people, as opposed to coming from on high with the intent to like manipulate or direct the people, like it's about freedom. And so Dionysus is about freedom, Apollo is about order. And so they oscillate and they coexist. And so you can kind of go through the whole of human history and look at how the times where we've had like Dionysian movements, they've been accompanied or followed by Apollonian movements. It's a pendulum, right? So like we kind of, as we move through time, we keep going back and forth between these two archetypes.
Yeah, I don't
that
know.
also coexist.
I think there's a third. So I was thinking about that actually, because isn't it weird? Like, so one of my Santa Cruzian Agenda 21 pilot program town thoughts is like, we need goddess energy. Like goddess energy is the answer. I don't know why, but that's like, maybe it's Gaianism, maybe it's like my kindergarten teachers, but that's programmed in me. But I've been thinking about it, and there's a lot of people like who go after goddess energy who go insane. You know what I mean? Like, it seems like insanity is tied with goddess energy, and that wisdom, Sophia, Discordia, Eris, chaos thing seems like they're the same thing. They're the two sides of the same coin, chaos and wisdom, right? And so you've got Apollo, and you have Hestia, because Hestia is sort of the goddess of before Dionysus. Hestia was up on the throne, right? And Dionysus takes her spot. So she's in charge of that throne seat, and then when she's removed, she ends up with the fireplace, like the hearth. And so Vestal virgins and things are associated with Hestia, but she loses her spot on Mount Olympus, and has like that seat's filled by Dionysus, by Bacchus, right? And there's two kinds of Bacchus. There's like the young and the old. There's the old Bacchus, but there's the young Bacchus first. So I think that connects with that idea that there's a point where Bacchus basically becomes like Apollo again, but it leads back to Hestia or whatever. There's like this wisdom chaos kind of thing.
Is she associated with Diana? What's it? Because you have Diana and Artemis, right? Because if you're talking about a third there, and you can be talking about like a feminine archetype, that's where I would go. Is Diana?
Yeah, I mean, she's divine and heavenly, and I think if you break her up into aspects, you might get chaos and order or something like that as like two dynamics of her. But like it's really the idea. Yeah, Diana is like femininity, but I mean, considering also like Discordia because of the golden apple, right? Like, what's up with the apple of discord, right? Like the fruit of knowledge, kind of a thing. Like, what do you think of the apple?
That doesn't grow on an oak tree. But like the whole thing with the princess being associated with Dionysus, who the stranger would kill the king and marry, that's like that she is like, her and her offspring are like the continuation of Dionysus, which I find interesting because that partner has to be a total outsider. He has to be from somebody outside the kingdom, which is so distinct from the way we treat royalty now, where they like, I just saw a video of Jacob Rothschild, because there's a lot going on with that right now because of his death. But it's like, I just saw a video of him just talking about like how we keep it in the family and joking about it, and everybody's laughing. And he's like, because of wealth and power. But it's just, he's so he's one of those guys, like Klaus Schwab, who he'll be talking and he doesn't even he's in such his own world. He doesn't even know like nice. He doesn't even know like what it is, that what it sounds like to regular people. You know, like he has no exposure to regular people. So it's just, yeah, it's so
What's it
strange.
going to take for us to like generate this in Civitai? Because I've seen other models you can just run in Civitai.
Yeah, you just look right there on the top. It says create with that blue button.
Remix?
At the very
Oh, create right here.
Yep.
Oh, great. And so then right here I could type in, oh, this is Mary Kate Olsen eating a glizzy. Let's make it more like your one.
Oh, there should be an option on there to like generate based on that prompt. But yeah, you can just copy and paste all that in there.
Who's someone you want as Ronald McDonald clown at Disneyland, no, holding balloon animal at Disneyland. Okay, we'll just try that really quickly, and I'll wait to see if that turns out okay, because you never know what could happen with the AI internet.
But Jacob Rothschild lives on. I've trained. I trained a model on him. It spent like it was a big one. It was if you
I
saw
love
that,
your
it was
post.
like a big model.
I found out that Jacob Rothschild was dead that way. So I saw your post
nice.
and it said Jacob Rothschild
Not
might be
anymore.
dead,
I brought him back.
but
Oh god.
his AI
Yeah,
avatar
he's
was
a
on.
marvel in the tech.
He is
Good
now.
for him. That's what he always wanted.
You're welcome, world. I didn't let him get away that easy.
You know, he really does look like the Man Who Laughs, like the old silent film Man Who Laughs, more than the current Jokers, you know, whether Heath Ledger or whoever. You know what I mean? Like what you just did, that you were familiar with the silent film The Man Who Laughs?
No, The Man Who Laughs. The Man Who Laughs.
You don't know what I'm talking about?
I don't remember that one.
Okay.
Man Who Laughs.
Yeah. So this is the inspiration for the Joker as he exists, and you know Alan Moore speaks to this. Like the Killing Joke used the character from The Man Who Laughs for this whole thing. Yeah, if you get to. So this guy cannot not smile. You know, this is creepy as
relation to
hell.
Regis Philbin, or is it just the same name?
You'll get there if you flip
They're
through it
all
like
the
this.
same
You should see.
Philbins.
Yeah.
How far we
Yeah.
go? Chaos.
I don't know, man. Yeah,
this looks
no,
great. I've never seen this one.
Oh, there,
look
yeah,
at him.
that guy. Yeah, but he has this smile that sometimes just goes really out of control. You know, I mean, it's always on, but yeah,
That's pretty brutal.